What's up, everybody? Welcome to the FutureDDS Dental School Experience Series, where we help you decide which dental school is right for you. Now, every school is unique and will provide you with different experiences, and we thought who better to explain to you what a school has to offer than a student who actually goes there. Our goal in this series is to give you a firsthand perspective of every dental program in America and ultimately help you make the right decision. Today, we'll be showcasing Candace Carter, who is a D3 at the University of Alabama at Birmingham School of Dentistry. How are you doing today, Candace?
I'm good. Thank you for having me, Tyler.
Definitely. So if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, where you went to undergrad, and what got you interested in dentistry.
So as Tyler mentioned, my name is Candace Carter. I'm from Gonzales, Louisiana, which is not far from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Xavier University in New Orleans, Louisiana, and I currently go to UAB School of Dentistry. I'm a third year, and I'll graduate in 2020.
Okay. And what was that first thing that kind of sparked your interest within dentistry?
I first became interested in dentistry in high school. I knew I always wanted to do something in the health field, whether that was medicine or dentistry, I wasn't really sure. So I started doing a lot of programs, like one-day events at hospitals, and eventually I got an opportunity to do an internship program at a dental office my senior year of high school, my last semester of high school, and I did that at an endodontist office actually. And for anybody who doesn't know, that's a dentist that specializes in root canals. And I really enjoyed my experience there. I loved his interaction with the patients, that he got to build a rapport with his patients, just how scientific everything was, but also how he used his hands. And after my internship experience there, he offered me a job. And so from then on, I just stuck to dentistry and decided to pursue a career in dentistry.
Okay, so a lot of our viewers, either they're about to start the application to get into dental school, or they're kind of in those first couple of years in undergrad, are really thinking if dentistry is really right for them. So I like to ask all of our interviewees, did you do any summer programs in order to like help boost your application to dental school?
Yes. So I actually did a summer program every summer of undergrad because I went into undergrad knowing for sure that I wanted to do dentistry. So I was really dedicated to spending my time in that way pursuing the field. So my first summer I spent at Columbia in New York. I did S&DEP there. It's now called SHPEP. And that was an awesome experience. It was 6 weeks. In New York, we got the opportunity to shadow the dental students there, work in the lab, do hands-on impressions, drilling. We took prep classes for the DAT. We took classes that we would need in order to get into dental school, whether that be like organic chemistry, physics, statistics, things like that. And it was just really good meeting other people who was also interested in dentistry, just like-minded people who wanted to do the same thing as me. And my second year, I did a program at Baylor College of Dentistry, which is now known as Texas A&M College of Dentistry, where I met Tyler. That was a very intense program. It was 6 weeks of straight DAT prep. It was very intense, very hardcore, but also very worth it because I got to take my DAT after my sophomore year of college and made a good score and didn't have to take it again. So I'm very grateful for that opportunity. Also met great people who I still communicate with to this day. Obviously, I had the opportunity to talk to Tyler on this. And finally, after my junior year, I did a program at LSU School of Dentistry, which is would have been my home school or home state institution. And that was kind of just kind of an enrichment program, just exposing us to dentistry and different options in the field. So all of the experiences were really great. I'm very thankful for all of them. They all, in different ways, confirmed for me that I wanted to do dentistry and allowed me to network and meet people that I wouldn't have met otherwise.
So literally, like Candace said, if you're all on the verge of deciding if you want to apply, if you're nervous that you won't get in, just send in your application because, I mean, we can both agree that they were great experiences and definitely helped us get to where we are today. All right, so Candace, I need you to tell us a little bit about your school. Kind of tell us about the city, and also like how big is your class size? You know, how many students within the whole school are there?
Okay. So Like I said, I go to UAB School of Dentistry. It's in Birmingham, Alabama, which is, I think, the biggest city in the state of Alabama.
Mhm.
Our class size is 60, but that's not including our international students. So we have an international dentistry program where students who are already dentists in their country come to the U.S. to get a U.S. license, and in their our third year rather, they join our class. So that adds about 15 or so students to the class. So if you were to count both, we'd have about 75 students per class.
Right. And I know some schools like have a hospital attached to theirs, or does your school have this, or?
Yes, so we do have a hospital associated with UAB. It's actually one of the largest in the country.
Wow.
Not sure as far as what number it is ranked on the
Yeah,
list, but I always hear that it's pretty high up on the list. We have a huge medical center, so with that, we get to interact with a lot of other professionals, medicine, physical therapy, nursing, so on and so forth. Pretty much anything you can think of. You step outside and you'll see every color of scrubs possible.
Okay, okay. So I know you spent some time in some pretty lively cities. For some people who are from cities who are kind of nervous about moving to Alabama, like what would you tell them about the city? Is it as country as some people might think it is, or?
Well, I will say I definitely was one of those people. I did not want to move to Alabama and I did not want to move to Birmingham. But I had a friend, Danielle Williams. She's actually a pediatric resident at UCLA right now.
Mhm.
She's a graduate of UAB. And she was very adamant about me applying to UAB, coming to UAB, just seeing what they had to offer, what the city had to offer. And me being someone who lived in New Orleans for 4 years, I was very hesitant and did not believe her. But Birmingham is not that bad. It's definitely on the come up. There are a lot of cool like restaurants, trendy bars, things that you can do to explore. Now, granted, it's not New York, it's not New Orleans, it's not Los Angeles, but at the same time, you're in dental school. So do you really have that much time to, you know, in the
No.
city every night? No.
No.
So I think it's good for what it is.
Okay, okay. Thank you. All right, so next question. So you said you had a friend who kept recommending you to apply to UAB. What was the main factor that really made you choose your school?
I would say the number one thing would be the amount of clinical work that we do at UAB. If you compare that to what other schools do, we are above and beyond most schools. We do about 30 crowns to graduate, 8 arches of dentures, 20 quads of scaling and root planning, 50 extractions. We really, really, really do a lot. And what I will have completed at the end of my third year, some students will complete that to graduate. So, I mean, that says a lot in itself.
Right.
So the
That's,
experience that you get is second to none.
right, right. And you need that. I know some schools, I know we're not gonna say any names, but I mean I'll talk to them and they'll just say, yeah, man, I'm having issues. We need like 4 crowns to graduate and I can't even get that. And I'm just like, what? It's
Yeah,
crazy.
I'm not even done with my third year and I've done more than that. So,
See, and that's definitely a huge benefit.
for sure.
Okay, so now I want to ask you, to we're gonna go back in time a little bit, because like I said, I know a lot of our viewers are about to apply. Can you actually walk them through your interview day? Like I know a lot of people are nervous just about the entire interview process. So I just kind of want to know, like at UAB, how did that interview day go for you? Was it like a group interview or like how was the whole process?
Okay, yeah. So my interview at UAB was my first interview out of 7 interviews total. So I
Okay.
was extremely nervous, just because I didn't know what to expect. Had never been on a professional interview before, but to my surprise, it was very pleasant. Everyone was very nice. You get that Southern charm, Southern welcome from everyone that you meet. And I didn't feel that it was fake. I went on several interviews afterwards, and I kind of got the feeling that everyone wasn't as genuine as they appeared to be. But I didn't get that feeling at UAB. So the way that the day works is that you go on a tour with students. So you're not with faculty on the tour. So you kind of get the real perspective from people who go to the school. You have lunch with the other interviewees and also with one of the faculty members who tells you about the school, what it has to offer. And then finally, you have your interview. And it is in a group setting. It's in a conference room with about 3 to 4 faculty members and one fourth year student. and it's just about 20 minutes, and they really just try to get to know you. I don't think I'm giving anything away by saying this, but they always tell you ahead of time that the first question is going to be, tell me about yourself.
Mhm.
So that you know what to expect, at least first off. And then they kind of just pick off what you say and what you tell them and pull out things about you. Like, they asked me my favorite food. They asked me my favorite thing to do. It wasn't very intimidating or uncomfortable. I felt comfortable, and I was very welcome. I felt very welcome there. And when I went on my other interviews, I was able to compare that to my experience and my feeling at UAB.
Okay, so you interviewed and obviously you got in. So can you kind of walk us through that transition period, whereas like the first couple of weeks in dental school, did they have somewhat of a like a warm up week? Like how was that whole situation the first couple of weeks?
The first couple of weeks are pretty chill. Well, really, the first semester at UAB is pretty chill in comparison to the others. I think they make an effort to try to ease you into it instead of
Mm.
just like dumping you in dental school and saying, figure it out. And
Right.
then also a lot of the student organizations do a good job of like having welcome weeks and welcome events. Like ASDA does something, SNDA does something, AWD does something. Oh, by the way, ASDA is the American Student Dental Association. SNDA is the Student National Dental Association. AWD is the American Association for Women Dentists. And so all of these organizations on our campus are really active, and they make it a point to do something for all the first year students so they get to know their classmates and also get to know the upperclassmen. So my transition to dental school is pretty smooth, thankfully.
Okay, great, great. So now another thing that our viewers really like to know is kind of like a timeline of your day. And granted, I know your day is a little bit different now. So if you can, let's pick a day in first year if you can. What time did you wake up? What time did classes usually start? If you had to go to pre-clin, what time would you typically go to pre-clin? Things like that.
Okay, so first year the day is typically from 8 to 5. You may have some days where you finish at 12, maybe one day a week where you finish at 12, which is nice. But typically your days from 8 to 12. Then you have a lunch from 12 to 1, and then again from 1 to 5. So 4-hour time blocks. And those 4-hour time blocks can be spent in either the preclinical simulation lab where you're learning your hands-on skills to actually learn how to be a dentist, or you could be sitting in your didactic courses, having death by PowerPoint for 4 hours.
It is dead. It is dead. But I mean, you get used to it, and like I feel like right when you get used to it, then you start clinic and you don't have to look at it as much. So it's a win lose. It's a win lose. But okay, so say you have now convinced somebody. You know what? UAB seems awesome. Candace is amazing. I really want to go to this school. What is something that your school specifically looks at on somebody's application, whether it be a lot of community service hours, a lot of shadowing hours? Like, what's one of the main things that they look at?
I don't know for sure if there's one specific thing that they look at. I think they like a well-rounded applicant. So first and foremost, you need to have good grades, good DAT. And that's not just if you're applying to UAB, that's if you're applying anywhere in
Yeah.
general. You want to be a good applicant regardless. UAB is a big research school. So if you are interested in research or have done some research, that's something that they would probably like. Granted, I'll say I didn't do any research in undergrad, and I still got in, so it can be done. But that's something to consider. And if you are interested in research, then UAB might be the place for you.
Okay. So a major topic I think within dental schools now is kind of a like that I want to say a work-life balance type of situation. And I think a lot of people are always intimidated when it comes to dental school about, mentally, my mental health. Will I be okay? Will I be stressed out all the time? I was wondering, how do you go about maintaining that work-life balance, your mental sanity throughout this crazy experience? And does your school kind of have any programs to help out with that type of stuff?
Okay, well, for me, the things that are most important for me outside of school are my family, my friends, my working out, reading, and cooking. Those are my biggest things. And something that I've learned in dental school is that every day is going to be different. You can't say, I'm going to work out every day at this time, and this is just how it's going to be for 4 years, because that's just not going to happen. But you can make it a point to say, I'm going to work out 3 times this week, or I'm going to read 3 chapters of my book this week, or I'm going out with my friends. Like, for example, this weekend, I'm going to New Orleans for Mardi Gras. So I know that Monday through Thursday, I need to get what I need to get done so that I can enjoy my weekend. And I think it's just about prioritizing your time and what's important to you, and finding a way to work that in school and in dentistry.
Mm-hmm.
As far as programs that our school has, I know we have like counseling centers, and there's always somebody that you can talk to. I feel that if I have an issue going on, that there are professors that I feel comfortable enough to talk to, and that they'll point me in the right direction, or pat me on the back and tell me that everything will be okay and that I'll be all right. So granted, I've never had to use any of those resources, but I know they are out there if anyone is in need.
Okay, great. Thank you. And so now D3, now you're in clinic. What was your clinical experience prior to you being, officially in clinic? Where you all started off first year? Did you start assisting? How's the whole clinic experience at UAB?
Yes, so they start you off in clinic first year. You start assisting the 3rd and 4th year students. You start doing like impressions on each other, injections on each other. We do injections on each other our 2nd semester. And then they kind of amp it up a notch each year. So 2nd year, you're doing cleanings on patients. You're still assisting the 3rd and 4th year students, so you're in the clinic a little bit more. We have an oral path course, so they like you to find a patient in the clinic that has some type of oral pathology, take a picture of them, write up a medical history, dental history about that patient. So even though you're not seeing your own patients those 2 years, you are still exposed to patient care. And then in 3rd and 4th year, you're typically seeing a patient, at least 2 patients a day, sometimes more. The way that our schedule is 3rd and 4th year is typically you have a class from 8 to 9, clinic from 9 to 12, lunch, class from 1 to 2, and then again clinic from 2 to 5.
Okay. That's pretty much similar to how we do it here also, except we just did the stab lab like a couple of months ago, so we definitely do that a little bit later than y'all. But okay. So one more time, I'm gonna actually need you to sell your school. I know that you said one of the major advantages of your school is that you all get a lot of clinical experience. We talked about that a little bit earlier. Is there anything else that just really makes your school unique and just stand out from the rest?
I think for sure the clinical experience. I think that, if you want to be a dentist, you have to learn how to do the procedures. You have to be with the patients, getting your hands dirty, for lack of better words, and learning how to do the procedures, because you can't be a good dentist unless you're doing it and you're practicing and actively trying to be better and improve yourself and trying different techniques. So for me, I think the clinical experience is the best thing about UAB, but also I think it's just a friendly environment. I never feel like people are like cutthroat or like stepping over someone else trying to get requirements or trying to get grades. It's never been like that. I feel like all of my classmates, if I ask them a question, they'll be willing to answer me, or if I need help in clinic, I feel like I can go to all 74 of them, even the international students. So that's something that I know everyone at every school doesn't feel that way, and something I'm very appreciative of.
Right. I think that's huge also. People might read these things on certain forums, just talking about how dental school is such like a cutthroat environment or whatever it may be. But knowing that your colleagues kind of have your back, I think that's a huge plus when it comes to any school, honestly.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's important.
Huge. So, all right, Candace, for one last thing, big advice, and this is just to anybody who's applying to dental school, not even necessarily somebody who wants to go to UAB. Just if you could, give people one piece of advice to somebody who's aspiring to go to dental school, what would that piece of advice be?
I would say definitely put in the hard work. Make sure you have the grades. Make sure you have the DAT. Don't apply unless you're ready. Stay positive. Stay patient, because it is a long process and it can be a stressful process. And just be confident in who you are. Don't try to be anyone else on your interviews. they liked you, they like what you put on the application. So be that person. Don't try to give them something different. And it'll work out. You'll get there. And if you don't get in the first time, don't give up.
Great words, great words. Candace, if you don't mind, could you give our audience some type of contact information just in case they want to reach out and ask you some more questions?
Sure. My Instagram is Dr. Carter. That's Carter with a K. So Dr.Karter. You can follow me on Instagram.
All right, great, great. On behalf of FutureDDS and all of our subscribers, Candace, I would like to thank you. I know it's late. I know you have a lot to do, so we really do appreciate you giving us your time on this evening. And best of luck heading forward in everything that you do.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you guys for having me.
No problem, no problem. Everybody, if you haven't already, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button below. Also hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you know whenever we post new content. But until next time, see y'all later.